You're listening to The Principled Entrepreneur with Caleb and Jody Moore, where we dive into real stories of grit, growth, failures, and victories. Every conversation is about the journey and what it really takes to build your business and your life on purpose and principle. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on The Principled Entrepreneur. Jody and I just got done with interviewing Fred Roumbanis. He's a professional fisherman, and man, Jody, he was awesome. What great stories that he gave us today. Some great principles, some amazing times that he's had, and some failures that he's had. And it was just really enlightening to me after it. The connections that was all made. It was really inspiring.
Yes. So the incredible setbacks that he had, and then his outlook and perspective, how he specifically flipped the negative to the positive, and he walks us through what that looks like, and just like keep going, the grit. But what's amazing is that he's in the fishing industry, and it sounds fun, but you can apply those same principles to every industry that he spoke about today.
Absolutely.
I just am thrilled.
You could have taken those lessons and just said that those are life lessons.
Yeah.
Take fishing out of it. It was really good. And we learned a lot. And I think you're going to learn a lot as you watch this today. So stay tuned. Here's the episode with Fred Roumbanis. Fred Roumbanis, thank you for being with us today. Fred Boom Boom Roumbanis, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that your nickname?
Yep, Boom Boom it is.
Boom Boom it is. Man, we're excited that you're here today. Jody and I have been talking about having you on for a long time. We've known you guys since you've been here in Arkansas. And I remember the first time we met.
Yeah, you were actually our first call.
Yeah,
in Arkansas,
right.
So both of you.
I was the first Arkansan that you came across.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your show.
Yeah, well,
This
is awesome. But yeah, I remember going back and telling Jody, because you had that 40 acres out there that's beautiful that y'all have done so much too. And I remember I was talking to Julie. She's the first person that called, and we showed it on a weekend, had you guys come down from Oklahoma, and I remember seeing you come out of your truck for the first time, and you were in shorts and tennis shoes, and it's July in Arkansas, so it's 100 degrees outside, and I'm like, this guy's going to get eaten up with ticks and bugs. And then there's Julie that pops out of the truck, pure Oklahoma girl. She knows what's going to go on. She's like, I got my boots on, I got my tick spray, I got all this other stuff. And so I'm like, she's going to let this guy walk out there without any of this, prepared for any of this. And sure enough, I mean, I think at the end of it, you had a couple of hitchhikers.
Oh, I had a lot of hitchhikers.
Yeah,
that was a learning curve.
A learning curve. Yeah,
towards Arkansas.
Welcome to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was a good time. So got the lands, built on it. It's beautiful out there. Got you a great ponds and everything. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Julie this the other day. I was like, we could live anywhere. With what we do for a career, we could literally live anywhere in this country.
Right.
And we had a few boxes we wanted to check off. One, obviously, scenic, beauty. We want to be somewhere that is quiet. Good schools, had a lake nearby that we could fish. I could practice, hone in skills, test new lures, stuff like that.
Right.
And really just a great community to work with. We like that small town atmosphere, and that's why we chose Russellville.
Yeah, that's
great.
Yeah.
So honestly, like Julie we were driving across the country, tournament to tournament, and we drove right over Mill Creek.
Yeah.
And Julie was looking on Zillow and said, "What about Russellville?" And she found that property that she listed.
That's cool.
And that's how it went down. We were on our way back to Oklahoma.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
We brought that up last night as Caleb and I were talking about podcasts today. We said you guys you had your share of any part of the U.S. And Caleb thought, well, maybe it's Lake Dardanelle that's the draw. And I thought, I think it's just a combination of everything you just mentioned. But I think that's cool. I love that you guys chose here. So thank you. But anyhow,
thank you.
Yeah, and Fred, you've been doing this for 20 years now. Is this your 20th year?
Yeah, this is actually we still got a couple more events left, but yes, this is my 20th season as a professional bass fisherman.
That's pretty cool.
So,
that is pretty cool. And then you've got 4 national tournament wins. You've got 8 gold medals. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So you've had a great successful career, it sounds like, and I kind of want to walk through the journey with you on how did we end up where we are today. Like I've read some stuff, and of course I've known you and Julie for a long time, so I've learned a lot, and I think the audience is going to really enjoy some of the stuff that we've learned and found out about you too. So let's start at the beginning though. How in the world did you get into this fishing thing? Like, this is a abnormal way of, like, we fish on the weekends, but you do this for a living. How in the world we start out there?
And it's really crazy where I came from. I grew up east of San Francisco, California. Kind of a hilly area, but there was a big reservoir down the hill, which was in Lafayette. And we grew up in a city called Orinda, and I would literally every single day in the summer get on my BMX bike, grab some fishing rods, and ride down this rim trail, which you weren't really supposed to ride a bike on, but it was basically an all downhill trip to the reservoir.
Right.
And then my mom would work in the city, and she would pick me up in the evenings on our way home from work. And that was what got me into it more than anything. And as a kid, we did a lot of things at 8 years old, 9 years old that there's no way I would let my kids do, especially out in California. Maybe more so out here, but I would ride this BART to San Francisco. My dad was a cable car conductor. And I was into a lot of solo sports as a kid, skateboarding, BMX biking, snowboarding, stuff like that. And fishing, obviously, is the one that really got my heart. But I would ride my skateboard to San Francisco and ride the cable cars all day with my dad in the city and come back to the East Bay and skateboard around there until my mom got off work, too.
Wow.
And so...
and how old were you?
Like 8.
Oh, wow.
9, 10. Yeah.
So she was like, hey, we'll get a babysitter. And you were like...
No, we never...
No.
The park rangers at the reservoir kind of took on the duty for us as kids. And, we really just... We enjoyed watching it on TV. Yeah. We'd have it on. Back then, it was like there weren't very many channels. There was no social media. There was no internet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally like if you could go down to Kmart and find a VHS tape of Hank Parker or
Bill Dance.
Yeah, one of those guys.
Yeah.
And mom had a couple extra bucks. She would buy it, and I mean, we'd watch that over and over and over until we learned how to throw a jig, and then go ride our bike down there and fish for an entire week just to get one bite on a jig, maybe catch a fish.
That's dedication.
But it was so fun when you're that young, and there's so much excitement and like, I don't know, it was just opening, all these new ideas and thoughts in my head, and I'll tell you what really got me into it, and it's funny because I just talked about this the other day as well. When I was young, my grandfather had given me this tackle box. This is on my 8th birthday. A tackle box and a Zebco 33 Classic combo. And in that tackle box had some salmon eggs, some split shots, some hooks, like the Eagle Claw hooks with the little leader on them pre-tied, little spinner baits, little beetle spins, just the real basic fishing box. And that was what really got me. So we went down to the reservoir, opened it up, and I put these split shots on. Nobody showed me how to fish, so I put like a split shot every 6 inches on the line. I thought that's what they were for, to weight it, and then I tied on that. I don't even know how I did, like 5 square knots maybe, to tie on that little pre-leadered hook, and then started threading the salmon eggs on there, and I'm just casting that little Zebco 33 Classic and just winding it in. And all these adults are on the dock fishing for trout, and they've got their rods set up. They got little bells hanging. Right. I mean, they're all like professional trout fish. They know what's up, right? I have no idea. And I'm like, and I hooked up as I was winding in. A bass ate my salmon eggs. I guess it looked like something, it was a reaction bite. Right. I grabbed the bait. Right. And when I wound it in, everyone on the dock applauded me. They were excited. They got the net. And I think that was the first time in my life that I've got any kind of appreciation or applause from like adults, like adults, and then that really got me like pumped, like I did something super special. And that's what drove me into all these, starting wanting to watch more and on TV and everything else. So that moment, I knew nothing about fishing. And I didn't come up from a fishing background whatsoever.
Your teacher, I read that you had a career day. Yeah. And so you were supposed to tell people like, hey, what's your career going to be? And you were telling people way back then you were going to be.
So yeah, fast forward till, I don't know, what was it, 13? Because back there, middle school is actually 7th, 8th grade. So it might have been 12. Yeah, it might have been 12. Anyway, I was going into 7th, 8th grade, and the career day, they asked me what your profession was, and they had you check off a bunch of lists and whatever, and I told them I want to be a professional bass fisherman.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not one. That's not one. They said, well, you look like you'd be a good fit for a park ranger. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's not what I want to do. I want to be a professional bass fisherman.
Yeah.
And I was pretty adamant about it at that young age. So
That's impressive that you stood up to them
Yeah.
because they're making you check a box and you said, well, the box isn't here that I want to check.
yeah,
So
I pretty much made my own box.
I
So,
love
yeah.
that,
So-
which is the entrepreneurial spirit early on. I love that.
Well, thank you. I really didn't
No,
even know how or how it was even possible. I just
That's so cool.
Some guy in California, some boy that decided, I'm going to do this for a living.
Yeah.
And so at 18, that's
Yeah.
when it started to really kick in. You got your first boat around that time.
Well, even rewind to 15, I got my first job
Okay.
at 15 years old. Worked at a tackle store. And then when I turned 16, I was able to drive there. So my parents didn't have to, or my buddy's parents wouldn't have to drive me over to the
Okay.
Different job.
or older brothers or whoever it was, drive me. Yeah, so then I was able to drive, and then I drove my other buddies. We worked at a tackle store, and I really got a kick out of rigging rods and teaching people about fishing just from what I've learned through experiences. And they would come back, whether I rigged someone up for salmon fishing in the Feather River or whatever it was, they would come back and show me their fish catches. And so then I, kind of moved up in that store, which back then I was making $4.25 an hour.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
killing it.
Killing it.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Became a Sunday manager at $7.50 an hour
Ooh.
at 18.
Ooh.
But I saved.
Yeah.
I saved and saved and saved. Did some construction right out of high school. More like demolition. I didn't really build anything. I just
Knock
Tore
it
things
down.
I basically picked at linoleum off the floors
Yeah.
for rebuilds. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
sucked, but I did it, and I've worked a lot. And then I bought my first boat at 18. It was an old beater, but it was what I could afford.
Right.
What I did, and yeah. So
So then so at 18, are you in any tournaments at that point, or are you just kind of like, hey, I'm still figuring this whole thing out?
I'd actually fished 2 club tournaments from the back of the boat. I joined this American Bass Anglers. It was cool. They met this Fred Rucker's like burger joint, and we all had this meetings and everything. And I got drawn with a couple of guys, and it was the first time on a bass boat. So this is before I even bought my boat. And I was 18 before I stepped foot on a bass boat. So when I went out the first couple times, I had like a second and a third from the back. I was like, I got to be at the front. Like, I feel like when I was getting bit, they were pulling away from the stuff I was fishing.
Right.
So that's when I decided, that's it, I'm getting a boat. And then before I even turned 19, I jumped in a Pro-Am. Never fished amateur, just jumped right in on the pro side
Wow.
with this boat I just bought and finished 9th place. And got
wow.
back then a $3,000 check, which is a lot.
That's a
when
lot.
That was half of what I paid for the boat.
Yeah,
Exactly.
from
You made your
$750
money
an
back.
hour to $3,000 in a weekend.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
big jump.
So that's when I was like, I can do this. That's what gave me the confidence.
Do you feel like that's the moment that you felt the pull towards maybe professional side? Like I know you always wanted to, even at 12 or however old you were, you said you thought that was your career path. But I'm wondering, how did you believe that you were going to be a professional bass fisherman until like maybe that moment, or when was this?
Yeah,
this is real.
So that was like locally, I didn't think
Yeah.
nationally. I never I wanted to do that. Like that was a desire, but I didn't really, there's no pathway.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nobody that really taught me how to do this.
You can't go to college to get this degree
Yeah.
to like learn this.
And again, this is before internet, so there was no real
Right.
real way to figure this out. You'd wait till a TV show came out and you could watch a Bassmaster show or whatever. But it was like it was pre-recorded, and those shows would come out 6 months later. It wasn't like anything we have now, where
Real
everything's
time.
real time live.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely gave me the confidence. And then on my 19th birthday, but still I'm grinding. Like I'm trying to make my boat payments, pay for the gas to get to the lakes.
Yeah.
We all shared. If anybody came with me, we always chipped in for fuel. It was pretty much an unwritten deal.
Rule.
Like we all chip in. Rule, yeah. So
Right.
we all chipped in. But my 19th birthday, I remember going to my dad, and the Pro-Am was about $350 to enter. And I had success in that first one. And, I probably could have spent some of my winnings on that one. My dad's like offered, hey, I'm going to pay for your entry for your birthday present. I was like, that's a lot of money to my dad. He's a cable car
Right.
conductor, right? So I'm like,
That's amazing.
Yeah. That was
He
a big
believed
yeah,
in
this is
you.
awesome.
Aw,
Yeah.
He's supportive at least.
That was the day that it all went.
Oh, yes.
So this was my 19th birthday was day one of this Pro-Am.
Yeah.
And the wind picked up really bad. And I remember running down the reservoir, and I was on a really good bite. Like I thought I could win the tournament. Like I really felt good about it. And I made a turn into an area that they called, it's basically the heart of the California Delta. It's Frank's Track. And it was rough, and it was wind blowing against the tide current, causing just some gnarly chop. and my batteries died. I took a Spirit a couple waves where you kind of get the splash over. Whatever happened, it caused my motor to shut off. My batteries were, something happened. And I opened up the compartment, and it was filling with water fast, really, really fast. And I'm out in the middle of this area, Frank's Track, and there's these little island tops and stuff. And I'm looking around, and I got a co-angler in the boat. I got a 16-year-old kid who's fishing with me. And my boat's sinking. He's like, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I think we're going to have to swim." And I know that was like, it was bad because I saw boats going by and nobody stopped to help or anything like that. So when that boat sinks, it actually kind of tilts back and then it rolls slowly over. And when it did, we were swimming. I grabbed all my rods. I was like, this is like everything I got. Yeah. And I'm swimming, and I realized he wasn't.
You have life jacket?
Yeah, I got life jacket on and everything. So we both have life jackets. And I was like, looking at him, and he's trying to take his life jacket off because he feels like he can't swim. So I let go of all my rods, all my gear.
Yeah.
And I grabbed him, and I swam him sideways all the way back. And it was like, good thing in high school back there in California, that one thing I could say is to graduate high school, unless you had a medical exemption, you had to tread water for 45 minutes.
Wow.
So I had that.
45 minutes?
A whole class period, you had to tread water to graduate. That was we had a lot
intense.
Of medalists in volleyball at the high school I went to, or water polo. I'm sorry,
cool.
Not volleyball, water polo. And so that was a blessing because it actually gave me the confidence I can do. And it took me almost a full 45 minutes to get to one of those little berms and islands. And then I left him and he was exhausted. I went across and I saw a guy trolling for striped bass, and I'm hollering in the fog. The wind started dying down, started getting real foggy, and he couldn't see me. And I just dove in and swam to him.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So he's like, "What in the world?" I'm like, "We sunk our boat. We need your help." And they stopped, they picked us up and took us back to this island at Sugar Barge at Frank's Track. Anyway, my boat was, it was recovered later that day, and they dragged it in upside down, flipped it over. And in my mind, I'm still competitive. I'm like, I got to get back out there and fish.
Oh, wow.
Are you serious?
I wasn't done in my mind, but I was done.
But your rods, how
I
did
didn't
you
have any
get
rods.
back out to fish?
I didn't have any rods. I had nothing.
You're just focused.
Yeah, it was such a weird deal. Huh. But so that was a big setback.
Yeah.
Major setback.
So how did you, when you say, hey, I failed at that moment, because now you don't have rods, you don't have boats, you don't have all this other stuff. What's your mindset going through? How do I get back on my feet after I'm literally starting out at zero all over again?
Starting out zero, yeah. Well, I was actually really good at snowboarding. So I was like, I'm going to be a pro snowboarder. I'm not kidding. This is like the very next weekend.
Okay.
So
snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Okay.
So
Fred, this is awesome.
I was making lures. I was literally making spinner baits, and that was on a clock, like how many you can make an hour kind of thing. And I called in sick on a Friday because my brother wanted to see me snowboard. And so we drove up to this place called Boreal, and of course it's like the one day it's like icy out, and they closed the whole snowboard park.
Yeah.
And it's got caution tape around. I'm like, I looked at my brother, I'm like, Mike, watch this. And I hauled butt, jumped over the caution tape, and hauled down to the 40, 50-foot tabletop, whatever it was, and did a 720 tail grab. No joke.
Okay.
Came down, but I got so much speed, and what I learned in snowboarding, the faster I went, the more control I had. And I could do things like pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I flew up in the air, did it, and I came down, and apparently I completely, they got a big lip on the bottom of a tabletop. I came all the way down and slapped my head on the back. We didn't wear helmets. I woke up 4 hours. My brother watched me ride off, like I landed it and then just fell over. I woke up 4.5 hours later in the Truckee hospital from snowboarding.
Concussion.
So this is literally
Oh my
like the
gosh.
next week.
Wow.
So you've sunk a boat, and
Sunk
now
a boat,
you have a concussion.
and now I got a broken thumb too that had a pin in it.
Gosh.
So now, and then I went to work the next, and I had the goggled hands and all that, and I got fired. It's the only time I've ever been fired from a job, from making lures of all things,
Yeah.
doing what I love. So now I'm just like, but when you're young, you're resilient. You really are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I went back, worked at the tackle store a little longer, and then got a job. I was good at that. I was decent at sales, and so I ended up getting a job under the wing of Bill Reynolds, who was working for a company called Callan Western Sales, where I actually got to represent some of my favorite fishing companies: Daiwa, Yozuri, Power Pro, and then we did some other things like Wenger Swiss Army knives. It was a whole outdoor thing, and so I got to be a sales rep and cover a pretty big territory. And so I went to do that for a while, and then kind of built a little bit there. But then I wanted to go back to school. I was like, I'm still young. Like now we're moving into like our 21. I think it was when I first really got into all that stuff. So it was a couple years later after working at the tackle store, and so I did that, and then I went to work for a company that made fishing line, P-line, and they had a small distributor called Smalley's Wholesale. So I went to work for that 2 days a week while I was going to school at DVC.
Wow.
And then that Cal and Western Sales wanted me to move to Southern California to take up the territory for another guy, and they gave me a truck and gas cards and let me take my, and I kind of bought another boat in those years, and
at this
it was
time
still used. I mean, nothing was new.
You're making a lot of relationships. I'm assuming in that
you're building.
Okay, so yeah.
And one thing in this, I think this is where I could give some advice to people. For me, I never let a door close in front of me. Like if there was an opportunity, and if it's a weird, uncomfortable situation, I'm all in. I jump in. She'll tell you, Julie will tell me, just the other day, we were with some friends, and I've never played golf, and we joined the Lion's Den the next day, and I drove Julie and Avery over there with no golf clubs, no nothing. So we rented, and we played 13 holes. We did 13 holes.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it.
But there's another thing behind it. I agree. I got a tournament coming up here in a couple weeks in Alabama, and I got asked to play the golf tournament with the governor of Alabama, the lieutenant governor, the mayor of Gunnersville, and I said yes, I'll do it. That was before I even signed up to Lion's Den to play golf. So we've been cracking some golf balls. We just flew to California last week to a Niner game, went straight to Top Golf right off the airplane.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, can you talk them into Top Golf? Because then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you just hit it out there.
And I still wasn't very good at that. So I'm pretty nervous because this tournament's in like 2 weeks. But it's for a big fishing tournament. But we can go into that later.
What if I told you I beat Caleb in Top Golf this last time?
Did you really?
It was fantastic. Now
Heck
get me at
That's
a
not
real
true.
golf course.
Yeah.
I think I
That's
did.
not true.
2 years ago, I beat him in Top Golf. Anyways.
There's no proof of this out there. There is nothing.
That's something we should all
evidence
do.
out there.
That.
This is just hearsay. That's all this is. Don't believe her, Fred.
He'll want to think that.
So that was one of my questions was what early setbacks or failures taught you the most as you were starting out?
Yeah, I mean, I think each one of those setbacks just, I don't know, kind of like fueled the fire. Like it's weird because I think I knew I was good enough to fish. I didn't know how I was going to do it. But when I got back into the sales thing, Daiwa, I was repping it. So I got to keep some of the rep samples to get me some rods and reels back.
Yeah.
So that was a good deal. We had a discount tackle store, so I bought a few things. I didn't have nearly equipment, obviously, I have now.
Right.
I didn't need but like 5 or 6 poles back then.
Right.
So,
But what you said you knew you were good enough to fish, but how did you know you were good enough to fish?
I think it was just that one pro-am and like the couple little club tournaments I'd fished and
gave me the confidence. Each one gave you added to it, snowballed.
And in the meantime, and over those couple of years before I turned 21, we fished team tournaments, me and my buddies on the whether they had their boat or finally when I got into another one, I wasn't out of a boat very long. We found one that. I think it had a souped up. Actually, I know it had a souped up engine, but it was a very good price boat, and I started making payments on that one pretty quickly. So after everything, so I got back in the boat. And we fished every weekend tournaments.
Yeah.
So that was everything I made went back into fishing. There was no savings.
You reinvested everything.
I mean, all the way until
I think the pattern is that you were all in. You were all in with that. You didn't dabble in other, like you said, everything went back to the fishing world. Everything, your focus, your mindset.
Well, it was the only thing I never got hurt doing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
everything else. That's interesting.
Yeah, you're right.
2005. When did you start getting into the FLW? Was that
so? While I was working in Southern California for that other company, I actually got hired for assistant sales management position of a rod and reel manufacturer, Akuma, which was in Ontario. So I took that job.
in Ontario?
In Ontario, no, it's in Southern California.
Okay,
so
I was living in Canada too. I'm like, wow.
I was living in Huntington Beach,
Yeah.
working in Ontario, which is only 52 miles away, but it's a 2-hour commute each way.
Oh, wow.
And literally, when the clock hit, I was on a time card.
Yeah.
When that sucker hit 5 o'clock, I was bolting to my truck just to make it back to Hurricanes, a little bar, just so I get happy hour, which was half off, so I could eat at a decent price, because I was barely getting by living in an apartment down there. But they gave me that job with the time off to fish this regional series called the Everstart series. Never did I think I was going to advance from that, but it was still like a local pro deal. I got a decent job. I'll get some raises down the road. This is going to be cool. Well, that first year, I qualified to the FLW Tour, and I got this.
Awesome.
I got this pamphlet in the mail and a letter from Kathy Fennell, the president of operations. She was a VP at the time, and she said, "Congratulations on a great year out west. You've qualified to the national tour." And I saw the payouts. I was like, and all I saw was, 100,000 first place and a couple tournaments at 200,000 and I saw everything else, and I'm just thinking,
is this real?
Is this real? I'm in. Like, I've done this. Like, this is crazy. So I went to work that literally. I hadn't checked my mail in like 4 days. When you're in an apartment, you don't check your mail. Like, I didn't care to see whatever. And I finally checked. I don't know if it was like a week later or what. I got that, but that morning I got it before I went to work, and I showed it to them, presented it. I said, "I'm gonna do it, guys. I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to." And they had a meeting upstairs, and they gave me I think it was like $8,000 or $10,000. They wrapped my truck and boat.
Wow.
And yeah, they were like a party. I get it, for me to go off. So it was cool. I packed up, moved it back up to basically my parents' house in Northern California, and left pretty much everything in storage down there.
Yeah.
I think it's on Storage Wars, probably. One of the two. But, which was a lot of rep samples, paintball, everything. Like, it was cool. I had some cool products. But so that was it. I didn't look back. I was 24, 25 at that time, 24 maybe. And I just remember thinking, I got no responsibilities. Mm-hmm. I'm single. I can do this. Like, what do I got to lose? Let's chase it. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
So that was in 2005?
That was 2004 doing the Everstarts, and 2005 was the first year on the FLW Tour.
Okay, so 2005, you're doing pretty well for your first year, right? So,
I had a couple of checks. It wasn't great, but
you're still figuring it out.
I was paying my way,
But you missed it, the top 100 by 1 point.
Yeah, so back then, and here I am. I'm not in a sponsor-friendly boat. I'm in an older boat. So I missed requalifying by 1 point. And the funny thing is, it was the last tournament of the season. There's 200 boats in the field. On the second day of the tournament, I got pushed out of an area that I was catching all my fish in by another big name pro that I looked up to, and it was very heartbreaking.
What do you mean? What do you mean you got pushed out?
I was throwing a topwater frog.
Yeah.
Hence the frog factory.
Yeah.
It's something that I learned to do at a young age, throw a topwater frog. But anyway, I was in an area, I was catching a lot of fish, and he saw me over there and came in. And it was just a little canal, and he went around me, and I saw him tie one on and start catching fish. And he told me, "You can leave now. I'm here." And here I am, young rookie. I don't know. So I left. I didn't stand my ground. I was nervous. I couldn't fish. And I went to another area, which was a really good area. The wind was picking up. It was getting really rough. I had a 19-foot boat back then. We all run 20, 21. Mm-hmm. So it's a smaller boat. And I get back in this area up at Lake Champlain, Missisquoi Bay, and I'm throwing a frog. And I've literally got I don't know, maybe an hour to fish tops before and that's with running time to get back. I catch a 4-pounder, which is another. So I caught a 4.5 in the morning. I catch another 4.5, and I went back. I was open live well, and I was sitting there balancing fish. The small ones, one of the 4.5s jumped out of my live well back into the lake.
No.
Gosh. See?
Yeah, and I had just let go of the other one, so I actually went.
What'd you do?
Yeah, I was like, at the moment you have 6 fish because you're trying to let one go. All of a sudden now I'm stuck with 4. And I'm like, I got 15 minutes to fish now. And I'm like, I caught another 4-pounder, whatever. So anyway, I run in, barely make it back. I went through a wave. These were massive waves. Remember, I've already sunk a boat. Yeah. So I'm already nervous.
Little
sketchy. And these were the biggest waves I've ever seen, 6-8 footers.
Oh.
And they're just big roller swells. Wow. It gets yeah.
So
anyway, I went through one, came out the other side. The cowling, which is the cover on your outboard motor, is gone.
Oh.
It sucked it right off there.
Gosh.
We got water in the boat and everything.
Oh my gosh.
The motor still ran. I made it back in. I weighed in and I finished 12th. So I finished 12th. I weighed in 18-something pounds. Got a decent check back then. Top 10 advanced for a $200,000 first prize. Mm-hmm. I know I was on the winning fish because of what I figured out later in the day because of that whole incident. And because I finished 12th, because that fish jumped out. If that fish didn't jump out, I'm in the top 10. They start the weight's over. I got a shot to win.
Wow.
I was happy to get a check. I put a blanket over my motor, and I'm heading back to California, and I get the news that I finished 101 out of 200. They won't let me back in.
Man.
But I did get a really cool invite to go fish the Euro Cup in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out there and did that and got to hang out with some of my other icon, professional anglers I looked up to, and had a great time. And I remember sitting there with this one gentleman, Kelly Jordan. He's a legend of our sport, and he's like, so positive on everything in life, which is what you need. You've got to have people like that.
Right.
And he said, hey, why don't you just go back and fish the Northern Everstart Series? And I'm like, where are they? He goes, oh, I think you get to go to the Detroit River twice, Mississippi, and Upper Bay, Little Bay to Knock in Lake Michigan. And I'm like, really? You think I can get in those? He's like, yeah, you can get in those. So I came back home with this new, I ordered a new cowling for the motor.
Cool. New plan?
Yeah, new plan. Went up there, and then ended up. We'll just kind of. There's a lot of to it.
Is that the one where the Wisconsin one where
the Wisconsin one?
Okay,
yeah.
so let's set the stage.
This is
a
that
little
same
bit.
fall.
Okay, so that's the same fall. So you missed it by one.
Missed it by one.
Missed it by one on the tour. Go to Spain. They say, hey, go over to this other tournament that's in the northern part of the country, and so you decide, hey, there's this. Let's get this tournament right. It's going to be in La Crosse, Wisconsin, right? Mm-hmm. You don't know where La Crosse, Wisconsin even is.
No.
You go and you find a map, right? You have to go by. This is for GPS.
Yeah.
So you find a map. You say, okay, I get there.
Yeah.
So you don't even. The story goes that you are worried about the gas just getting there and running while you're there at the tournament, right?
Yeah. So that's actually the second one. The first one was at Detroit.
The first one's at Detroit.
At Detroit.
Yeah.
My boat's falling apart now at this point.
Because you don't even have the cover for your.
Well, no, I did order a new one.
You got a new one. Okay.
I got that, but it was still an older boat. This was an older boat. So I'm at Detroit River. There, we launch at the mouth of Lake Erie, and then you got the entire Detroit River, and then you've got St. Clair. Mm-hmm. Well, it's all open. So the first day of practice, I got a buddy with me from California. We run out to this area called Pelee Islands. Everyone talked about. We get like 5 miles, and it's like a 20-something mile run. We get 5 miles, and you don't see land on it, and we're both freaking out. It's big rough, and I'm like, so we turn around. So now I'm in the river, kind of messing around. Well, then I go all the way through the river, and I get into St. Clair, and I find some fish. Of course, I find it on the other side of St. Clair.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go fish this. Well, every day I'd come back in getting beat up. I had to take some screws and some drills to put my rub rail back.
Oh gosh.
And I'm literally putting my boat together every day. Like it's that bad. It's beyond. Well, that's when I thought I broke my ribs after the tournament. I finished 65th out of 200 in that the first day of the tournament. And I thought I broke my ribs, and I had a friend take me to the hospital.
Is that because of the jolts and stuff that you're
but it wasn't my ribs. I ended up with shingles.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Which is a malnutrition, stress, and just everything.
Your body's
so now I got
overreacting.
this feels like broken glass on my side.
Yeah.
I'm told to wear white t-shirts. They gave me a cream and stuff, and I had to the very next tournament was La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So that's when I basically laid up in a Motel 6.
So you have shingles
with like 3 people rooming together. So
that's
that's how we could afford to do it.
Yeah. So you have shingles, right? You're in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
You're running out of money.
Oh,
I'm
broke.
You're broke.
I'm broke.
You're completely broke. And so put me in your mindset, okay? So you're driving to La Crosse, Wisconsin. You're hurting. The boat's falling apart. You're broke. What's your mindset? Why do you keep going forward when there's so much going against you?
Well, I went out there. In fishing, there are some strengths that you have, like that become muscle memory over time because you can fall back on it. For me, it's a topwater frog. That's why, again, we got the Frog Factory, something we just started. But I went and I saw some areas that had lily pads, and I threw a frog and got a few bites. That was my practice. I had one area that was in the pool that we launched at, and there's a lock and dam. There's another pool. I found another spot over there. I found 2 spots in 5 days. The rest of the time I was laid up because I was hurting.
Wow.
And I went to the tournament director because we already had to put money in for the next tournament for the series. I don't have it. I went up to Chris Bowes, and it was embarrassing because I'm like, I said Chris Bowes. Sorry, that was not. It was Chris Jones. Apologize, Chris Jones. I went to Chris Jones, and I told him, and he gave me the light that I needed. At that moment, I told him, I said, I don't have the money. And he just said, whoa, Fred, stop thinking about that next tournament. We can worry about that later. How are you doing right now? What do you think you can catch? And I said, I haven't caught 5 fish the whole time I've been here. Like, well, if I get a limit, just going off the average size, I might have 12 to 14 pounds. And he says, Fred, if you get 14 pounds a day, I will see you here on championship day. Wow. That's all he had to say to me. Wow. And literally that dark that everything was dark. I saw light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For the first time.
For the first time in months and years.
Well, since I got my last check at the FLW, really, honestly, or since Kelly Jordan told me there was an opportunity.
So was that moment, okay, so from listening to your story so far, it feels like that moment was very similar to the moment your dad paid $350 for your tournament.
Yeah.
Like somebody gave you hope.
Gave me hope.
And said, I believe in Fred that he can do this.
Yep.
And that's what gave you the confidence and the courage to say, okay, I'm going to go out and do it.
Yep.
And so it was a mind shift in your mind. Like it was, okay, game on.
Yep.
Right? So you went out to the tournament.
I did go out there with a bunch of confidence I didn't have. I was still hurting.
Right.
But I had that. I went into my first area.
Yeah.
I threw a frog. I had the area pretty much to myself what I wanted to fish. And I caught a big bag, like a 15-pound bag, in like an hour.
Wow.
Maybe 2 hours. I got back out and I hung out by the ramp. Because remember, I don't even have enough money in the bank to even put a full tank of gas in my boat.
Okay.
But we do have these co-anglers that all chip in for fuel. So I'm banking on that, $50 he's going to give me to put money back in the boat, and I don't want to run around.
Yeah.
Which he did, of course, And
yeah.
Anyway, I weighed in that first day, and I think I was in like 4th place of 200 boats. And I'm like,
okay,
holy smokes, we got this. So the next day I go out, I remember running into there, and I caught a big one, like bigger than anything I caught the day before, like a 4.5 pounder. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. Then I catch another one, like a 2 pounder. And then this north wind came in and just cooled down the top of the water. All the lily pads flipped upwards, and you could not get a bite. Like they would not bite at all. And I didn't know about some of these other techniques I know about now.
Right.
I was very couple dimension, like in fishing.
Right.
And so I really didn't know how to adjust in that situation. And it got to about noon, and I still only have 2 fish. And so I was like, I got that other spot that I could lock down. I'm like, I'm not going to catch another. I've wasted all this time, and I'm not getting bit. So I run down the lock. And for those that lock it in, we got a lock here. Darnell, there's a lot of barge traffic.
Right.
And the lock master, he opened the gate, let me in. He said, I wouldn't lock down if I were you. The whole field that locked down this morning is waiting to come in because we got a 2-part barge coming up. And they're going to get precedent over anybody. And so I was like, I don't care, just lock me down. Now, I wasn't the last flight. There's different flights, you come in at different times.
Yeah.
Right.
And my weigh-in was right around 4 o'clock. It's about 1 o'clock. So I'm like, in a barge like that could take 3 hours. A 2-part
So you're
barge.
getting close.
Oh, it's very, like I got to go down there catch some. So anyway, I locked
your
down.
shingles are flaring up at this moment, right?
I honestly I was like, whatever, we're going to have, this is the last yeehaw. What I'm saying? Like, we're doing this. And so I go down, and everyone's turning around. One of the guys, Rich Lewinsky, I'll never forget his face turn around. Because they all knew I did good.
Right.
And they were all kind of rooting for me.
Right.
Cool.
And I just blew by them all. Just kept going.
Wow.
I get up in this area. The water level had dropped a little bit, and I kind of got nervous, but I pushed my boat up into it, gassed it, and kind of went into it. And I remember like 3 casts in a row. I caught 3 fish on a frog. It was probably like 10. They're all good ones. I got them in live well. I turn around. I go back, and of course, those other people have locked in. It was quite a run even then. And I I knew that I was going to come back in on fumes if I made it back for one thing. Yes. I knew that probably won't get through the lock, but I had a good enough bag to do it. So I just sat there calm.
So
in my boat.
You were calm?
I was calm for like 2 hours or whatever, waiting for this barge to go through.
Wow.
And when it went back, I made that run all the way back, and everyone was already saying, oh, Fred's not coming back. But it did go smooth. I don't think it was 2 hours. It could have taken, but it was, whatever it was, it got me back with 34 seconds.
34 seconds left.
34
Jeez,
seconds,
Fred.
I made it back to check in.
Wow.
Won the tournament.
Won the tournament.
Well, I ended up going in the next day, catching the biggest fish of the tournament, and then it was 2 more days. They started over.
Yeah.
I ended up winning at the end of it. But that stunt I pulled paid off.
Oh my gosh.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
Yeah,
it's a gamble. But, I think that's the other thing, a life lesson is sometimes you just got to go for it. You can't. The safe thing would be to try to stay there and catch fish, but I don't think it would have been safe because I don't think I would have caught anything.
And you wouldn't won.
Even though that's where I ultimately won the tournament on the next 2
Yeah.
days was in that area. The weather changed to my favor.
Right.
But you knew in that moment you needed to pivot.
I needed to
You
pivot,
needed
adjust,
and move, and you did, and you trusted what seems like gut instincts.
Mm-hmm.
You did it. You knew you could do it, but also you believed in yourself. Like obviously, oh my God, when everybody else was telling you to turn around.
Yeah.
And I mean, is that not true? When I think you see the light, but other people around you are telling you different things.
Yeah.
So I think, man, you're a hero.
So
Entrepreneurial.
how do you manage? Okay, so you're dealing with this high stress, high pressure. How do you manage the pressure of performance comparisons with other anglers, or what if I fail this week? Because in that moment, like you're going by all your competition. They're saying you're going to fail. Oh, Fred's not coming back, right?
Yeah.
And then you show up to these competitions, and y'all are friendly, but you're competitors, right? Mentally, walk me through every single week. You have this failure comparison with these other guys. You see everybody on the leaderboard. How do you mentally get past that?
At the end of the day, you got to think about yourself on that stuff. I mean, you can't, and I tell everybody this too, is like if someone tells you it's impossible, it's probably because that's how they feel about themselves, right? They don't feel like they can do it, so why can you?
Yeah.
But you're your own person. You can control your own destiny.
Right.
And if you have faith, he's always going to guide you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How much has he?
I think-
How much has he guided you in this whole 20 years? Would you say, like, what's been the journey with your faith in that 20 years?
I'll tell you, I've always been a believer, but until I met Julie and going to church and everything, because I didn't grow up like that.
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I wish I would have, but it was through all my experiences and the failures and the wins and just surreal moments in life.
Yeah.
There's only one person that could do that.
Oh
Yes, him.
I believe that.
So in those dark moments, your principle that you always kind of, your faith, your belief, your principles, that's kind of what got you through those bunking up with these guys and waking up and getting through. It's like, hey, if God opens up a door, he's not going to slam it in my face, right?
Right.
But it doesn't mean the journey's going to be easy either. Those moments made you stronger and it grew your faith. Would you say that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kept pointing you in the right direction.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. So how much of it is when you're out on the boat, is it I'm competing with myself or am I competing with other anglers? Like, break it down to me when you're out there.
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of times you are competing against the anglers, but at the end of the day, you're competing against the fish.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you're
All right,
not
I like
really like that. You could look at that and put your boat in the water and look at all these icons of the sport that are all around you
You're right.
that are just doing really well. Or you could look at it like, I just got to beat these fish. I got these
Right.
these little green monsters are swimming around.
Okay.
Just put that aside. Don't worry about that and go do it. So after I'd come home winning a boat and $10,000 at that tournament,
Yeah.
there was also the Bassmaster Opens that started out west.
Yeah.
I entered those and finished 9th on the Delta, and then ended up second at Lake Shasta, and it put me into the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Wow.
So now I'm back on the FLW Tour,
Yes.
and I'm qualified to the Elites. So I'd won a boat at Shasta, I'd won like $100,000 in 4 months back then. So if you could imagine,
That's crazy.
from negative,
Yes.
if you put that money in today's day, that's like in 4 months getting $250,000,
Yeah,
right? So
right.
I'd done this all relatively quick before the next season even started. Hey, look, I'm single. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to chase.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do both of them.
You're gonna do two different.
I'm doing 2 tours.
Two
And
tours.
I did the FLW tour and I did the Bassmaster.
How was your
Series.
shingles during that time?
You know what? When you win one, that
It
stuff
doesn't matter. It doesn't
I
matter.
am so scared to get a flashback of those because that is awful.
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't make it up my face, which it got. My whole body
Whole
was.
body.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't want to go there with shingles. That's a scary thing.
Yeah.
But so yeah, then that next year, the very first Bassmaster Elite tournament, I took second place and should have won it.
Yeah.
I actually had a fish in my hands, a 9-pounder that I was running out of time, and I gave it some line, and it got me into a tree, and I ended up having to break it off. I had the fish in my hands. It was a 9, and I lost to a good buddy of mine, Ish Monroe, by 1.25 pounds. And then we both qualified to the Bush Shootout later that year. I finished second to him again.
Oh, no.
So I think from that Lake Shasta to that second, there was 4 second places in bass within 12 months. And then I got an opportunity to fish the majors because I'd, got going into that year. The next year I was high enough in 2007. Right. Well, rewind 2006, I was rooming with some really good people that one of them got Angler of the Year, Mike Iaconelli.
Yeah.
And so I had some good people. Well, I ended up meeting Julie in Oklahoma.
Okay, so I want to stop you right there.
Okay.
I think I read something about this.
Yeah.
You had a unique way maybe of seeing if she was the one, testing out if you were. So walk us through. How did you guys meet? And did you throw her off a boat? Is this correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
That's a whole nother world of sweeping somebody off her feet
Julie,
there,
yeah,
Fred.
So what happened was I lost a fish at Grand Lake of the Cherokees in Oklahoma that cost me from making the top 50 cut. Well, since I didn't make the cut, and neither did some of my roommates at the time, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Bachelor, but Byron Velvick, he was the second Bachelor ever. He was one of my roommates. And so him, we had Mike Iaconelli, and then his woman, which was Mary Delgado, and who else was with us? It was Iaconelli, Ish. Well, anyway, I think Ike was the only one that made the cut to fish. So I was with Ish, Byron, and Mary, and we all went. We got invited to go to this company picnic for Lowrance. Well, I wasn't even sponsored by Lowrance. I mean, I had little graphs, 5-inch graphs on my boat, one in the front, one in the back. That's all I had back then. I still don't really have a whole lot.
You don't have the name recognition.
No,
just
I didn't
yet,
have the
right?
sponsorships.
Yeah.
I was still taking my winnings and fronting.
Fronting.
That's how I was basically living off of winnings, which is dang near impossible in the sport. And so why on earth they handed me the microphone? I was just there for the free fried chicken to speak in front of 300 people.
Wow.
I'm not going to go into what I said, but I was talking about my electronics, and apparently it came across talking about something else because I called them units.
Oh.
We'll just leave it at that. And some giggling went on, whatever. So I was embarrassed beyond belief. Well, eating my food and whatever. But I guess it was good. I did good, I don't know.
Everybody was paying attention.
Everyone was paying attention. It got everyone laughing. They thought I was being funny, and I really was just nervous. And anyway, so then this weirdest thing, we're at this lake, and an ice cream truck pulls up. And Mary's like, I want to get an ice cream. And I'm like, that actually does sound pretty good right now. So I'm like, I'll go get one with you. And then this pretty blonde girl comes skipping her way. And I remember, she got in line. She was talking to me a little bit, talking about some dude wearing, I don't know, some big old chain or something. And Valère jumpsuit. What do you call it? The jumpsuit? It had a pit bull on a leash.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really sure what she was talking about because I was mesmerized by her beauty. Anyway, I bought Mary an ice cream, and I went ahead and bought her one.
Of course.
Yeah,
oh,
of course.
Yes.
Of course.
And,
Did she like that?
Yeah, she was, oh, thank you. And she kind of went off. And I told Mary, I said, man, she's really cute. Here I am single. I'm on the road. And back then, Bassmasters gave us these qualifying business cards. Ooh. So Mary went and talked to somebody that got hold of her dad to tell her that I thought she was cute. She came back around, and she had really long blonde hair at the time. And she did the Suave commercial. And Byron's like, dude, she did that for you. And I'm like, what?
She did the Suave.
I didn't even see it. I never saw. Anyway, she came and thanked me, and I slipped her the business. I said, well, give me a call sometime. Maybe we can, hang out. And I'm terrible at that stuff anyway. So she calls me up, and I'm actually at Table Rock. And so I said, why don't you come up and fish me. We're just pre-practice for a later.
And she's
tournament.
in Oklahoma.
She's in Oklahoma.
So you're in Table Rock. That's
I'm at
4 hours.
4 hours, yeah, not
Yeah,
bad. And
yeah.
she did. She drove up that evening, and we had a great time. And that we got up in the morning and went out on the boat. And it wasn't like super early in the morning. It wasn't cold. It was summer. It was hot. And I had the ice chest full of drinks and stuff. And I launched the boat, and I looked at her and I said, "Can you swim?" And she goes, "Yeah, why?" I said, "Awesome." I picked her up and threw her in right off the side of the boat. And she popped up laughing, and I dove in, and we just had a blast. And and I'm not kidding. Like I don't even know if I really fit. We just ran around the whole lake because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
And we saw rope swings on cliffs, and we'd pull up and swing off them. And she even swung over a snake in the water, which I'm terrified of. Yeah. So I'm like, she's brave.
So to hear,
she's cute.
yeah.
She likes to have fun. Hey,
Like, sounds good to me. So if
she's
she came up
adventurous.
mad, then maybe that was your cue. But if she came up laughing, she's like,
yeah.
she's a
Well, I didn't
keeper.
want to have any drama. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
on,
That's
I'm
your
already
test.
having a hard time staying focused in these tournaments as it is. So it's like, if she comes up happy, then I know she's the one. You know.
So funny.
And she was. I remember she left, and I was really sad. And she called me up, and I bought her a one-way ticket to one of the events. And this is where I really screwed up. That you might have thought I would have screwed up throwing on the water. Yeah. I bought her a ticket when I didn't realize there was a time zone change. So I'm washing this truck and cleaning everything, trying to impress her when I'm an hour late. To pick it. Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
Whoops.
So
Not
too
but-
happy then.
So first of all,
That's funny.
if I'd have done that with Jody,
Yeah.
she would not be Mrs. Moore right now. Okay, so
well, this is way younger.
Okay, yeah.
Like right now.
So
We're talking 26 years old. Like
I don't think that would work for many people. So
Yeah.
good job.
So
You
awesome.
did great. You
Thank
got
you.
you got
She
it
is the
good.
woman.
Julie's awesome.
That's so good.
She's all right over there, and I
yeah.
just don't see her. But she's
So okay, so you what was really cool about the story is that so you and Julie meet, y'all start dating, and then she introduces you to her dad.
yeah.
Right? So tell the story about how you met Julie's dad and all that, how that took place. Because
Well-
I would think I would be a little bit nervous meeting the dad for the first time.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't sound like y'all hit it off really well.
We did. So he was in the industry. Obviously, was working at Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know his backstory much. I mean, she had told me she worked for Zebco, but I was, I didn't realize like the impact that he had within the company. And so he takes me in his office, and his fishing collection of old lures and reels is second to none. It's like a museum. So I'm sitting there looking around, and I'm staring at this plaque on the wall. Really nice plaque. And it says Zebco 33 Classic. And I'm just staring at it. And I'm thinking, oh, man, this is so cool. This is like my first rod and reel that got me doing all this. He puts his hand on my shoulder from behind. He goes, you know what that you're looking at? And I go, no. He goes, that's the patent. I got the patent on it.
Wow.
He had the patent.
The
on it.
patent on the Zebco
Wow.
33 Classic.
So how you first got started,
What got me started at 8 years old.
it was Julie's dad who had started that.
Redesigned the 33 to the 33 Classic, which was
Wow.
my first combo.
That's a pretty
What was
cool
your-
triangle
what
there.
were you feeling in that moment? Overwhelmed?
How quickly can you get married?
Yeah. Baby, you're the one. That's awesome.
I chose wisely. Yes.
Man,
That's
great.
pretty cool. So I guess it wasn't an awkward moment for y'all. It was kind of like
No,
this,
we hit
yeah,
it
yeah.
off. We fished. We had so much fun. I mean, even when we did get married, he came with us on the honeymoon, and we were allowed to have family members practice
Yeah.
with us back then. So we went down to Lake Amistad, practiced, and just
Yeah.
had so much fun.
So y'all were really close.
Oh,
between-
yeah,
yeah. You've always been close to her side of the family.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's
we've
really
gotten along
cool.
Great. It's been
Yeah. So and now, just fast forward. You have two boys, correct? And they tell us where are they at in their fishing journey.
well.
Kind
The youngest is starting to get into it quite a bit. He's more into sports.
Yeah.
We got a football game tonight with
Yeah.
the Whirlwind, so we're excited about
It's
that.
football
It's
season.
football season. Jackson, on the other hand, he if I went fishing, like if I came home and tried to sneak away just to go fish, he would get angry and mad because he wanted to jump in the boat.
Yeah,
which
come with
I knew the passion was immediate with him from his first fish he ever caught to and he's good. Like he traveled with us, at a young age all the way till he started school. And so a lot of the other pros would sit down and do little things and show him techniques and
Yeah.
stuff that those other pros wouldn't show me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
he's picked up a lot of stuff along the way, but he started doing these youth events, which is really cool here in Russellville, this whole area. Out in Lamar, you've got Horizon Trike Marine. They put on a youth league where kids can get involved in fishing called the Arkansas. It's the Arkansas Youth Bass Hogs. And so he got into that, I think, around 11-ish.
That's awesome.
And 12. And we fished those, got a couple Angler of the Year titles there,
Cool.
several wins.
That's cool.
And just built up. And this is what I always tell the kids around here, too, because this Lake Darnell, where we live, if you can figure out how to catch them here and adjust daily, you can catch them anywhere else in the country, anywhere else in the world.
Wow.
And so that is, I think, is really built him to an incredible fisherman.
Right.
And he got a scholarship to Murray State in Oklahoma for fishing. He's on the fishing team there now. But even fast rewind, at 15 years old, I was coming back for a tournament. I missed the championship, super bummed. And Jackson's like, hey, we got to meet this guy, Drew Gregory's a kayak professional. I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, he's bringing me a kayak. I'm thinking, well, how much is it going to cost me? I don't know. So I'm like, okay, sure, this sounds great. You know, get into kayak fishing. This sounds
That's a big deal. Yeah.
affordable. It's a big good deal for him. And he gets the kayak and he goes, oh, yeah, Dad, by the way, I signed up for the this is 15-year-old Jackson. I signed up for the professional kayak tournament.
Oh.
I'm like, this weekend. Have you ever been in a kayak? No. But I was thinking maybe you could take me after school on Wednesday.
Oh, goodness.
I'm like, okay. So I drop him off Wednesday for a couple hours while I'm kind of coaching a little bit of football for Avery. I come back after that. And he comes in. I go, did you catch any fish? He goes, no, but I think I learned how to paddle.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is so crazy. He's going to go fish a kayak tournament. But Drew's such a great mentor for him on that. And he's one of the best kayak fishermen.
Yeah.
Told him how to weigh the fish, measure them, and how to handle everything on the kayak, and don't bring too much gear and this and that. So he literally had
Minimal.
like one tackle box, 4 rods. I gave him a little rope and an anchor.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a fancy it was just a paddle.
The paddle one.
It's a lightweight one to get way back, and that's what Drew.
Absolutely.
That's how he wins a lot of tournaments.
Right.
Well, I said, well, where do you want? So he had a girlfriend at the time, and they went to the fair. So that was after school on Friday. Anyway, he never really practiced. And I said, well, where do you want to go? And he's like, well, can you drop me off at Spadra? And I go, okay. So I parked there at launch, help him get in the water and everything. He starts kayaking. You can put the kayak in the water and you can wait till you can lines in or whatever. So I'm sitting there and I'm kind of hiding and watching. He texts me before, like, Dad, you can't watch me. You're stressing me out. I'm like, so we had a football game that day for Avery, so I had to bolt anyway. And I'm on my phone. They've got an app that shows the weights. And by the time I got home, he had already had like three fish or something. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Well, he ended up, somehow, over the 2 days, he won the tournament.
Wow.
He won his first kayak professional tournament, and it was so incredible because none of us knew how he finished. He didn't even know because they turned their score tracker thing off
Right.
at the end of the day. So we were there, and when they said it was a tie, and he won the tiebreaker because he caught the biggest fish.
Oh, my goodness.
My
He
goodness.
won it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's you all over, though, at a young age. He just knew he was going to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Amazing.
crazy. And so this
I
year,
love it.
he was 17 at the beginning of the year. He went and fished the first Toyota Series, which there's the BFLs and then there's the Toyotas. He did both of them. And he made the championship in 9th place against all the pros
Wow.
that have been doing it
Oh,
for
gosh.
years.
And he got in the top 10.
So he got in the top 10 in the points. And then he's got a tournament here in October, I believe, for $250,000.
Wow.
He gets to fish for.
Wow.
And then on top of that, he finished, him and his buddy Lawson, they ended up at Hamilton, won state in high school by like 5 pounds. So he's killing it. He made the nationals.
Yeah.
They both made the nationals. Sorry, it's a team deal, and they finished 4th in nationals at Grand Lake, which is Grand Lake. If you think about it, that's where my life started with Julie,
Wow.
Yeah,
and that's where the nationals was. And he
That's
finished
cool.
4th.
yeah.
He didn't lose that fish.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I
So,
see a lot of
yeah,
I see a lot of triangles right here.
There's a lot of triangles.
I see a lot of connections here, you know. So that's really cool. I want to go back real quick though to last year. Tough year, 2025.
Yeah.
Starting out, you're heading to North Carolina, right, for a tournament out there. And what happens?
Yeah, so everything's I mean, I was just kind of chatting to my son on the phone through the truck, just having a great thing. And all of a sudden it happened. I'm cruising in the slow lane, towing my boat, going down the mountains, and I get hit by a drunk driver. He must have been going 120.
Oh, goodness.
Hits the back of my boat.
So he comes up from behind you.
Yeah, knocks my boat in the interstate. Yeah, came up behind me. I looked in the mirror while it was all going down, and I saw it was like he was indoing on the back of my boat. I don't even know what happened. Like he flew off to the side, and that was around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And I didn't he was drunk, so they handcuffed him, put him away or whatever. I didn't finish the police reports on my end until like 1 a.m. That's how long it took. And I'm like, all I'm thinking about is I got to get to the next tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm jarred up. I'm like, but the adrenaline was going. The pain didn't come for a couple of days. Like, that's when I was like
hurting.
Yeah, something's not right. But it was like, I mean, it was manageable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank God, if I didn't have a boat, he'd have killed me. You know what I mean? Like, it was
because he's coming.
He's just flying.
So that totaled the boat.
Yeah, totaled the boat.
And is it the next day? Are you supposed to? Is the tournament start the very next day?
Practice was.
Practice was the next day.
Yes.
But you don't have a boat, man.
I don't have a boat.
What did you do?
So, thankfully, Phoenix Boats stepped it up.
Yeah.
I at my darkest hour, I called Teresa, who's one of the owners of the company, and she said, "Don't you worry. Find you a hotel. We'll get you a boat in the morning."
Wow.
Okay.
I'm like, holy smokes.
That's amazing.
So she got you. So the boat shows up.
Yeah. No, they actually like in the morning I had to go to see if I could pull what I can out of my boat, my rod, everything, all my gear. I needed to get everything out of that boat because that's all I could do.
Salvageable.
Salvage it. My electronics. Luckily my graphs weren't hit, so I was able to get some of those back. And then they got on the phone like they're calling. We're at 6:30 in the morning. I haven't slept.
Yeah.
Like I'm 6:30 in the morning. They're there. They gave me 4 boats to choose from.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So they brought from Winchester, Tennessee. I think it was maybe 5 or 6 hours to where I was.
Mm-hmm.
We picked one. They pulled the troll motor off that, so I could pull a troll motor on mine and some electronics. They drove to me that day, brought me the boat, and we went straight there. And while everyone's practicing, we're rigging out this boat. I got the service trailers there. I got Danny Miller from Garmin. I got Michael White, the Phoenix. He's the one who brought me the boat, and he's rigging with me. And a couple of the other service guys are all helping out. And it takes a massive team to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got a day and a half of practice by the time it was all done. So I lost first day of practice, half the second day. I get that, and the best fish I found was right there at takeoff.
That's the best.
So
nobody's fishing.
So I didn't, and so that's what I did. I put the boat down.
And how'd you do?
Everyone
the
took
tournament?
off. I made top 10.
You made top 10.
Yeah,
After
top
all
10
that.
off that. Yeah. So it was an incredible tournament under crazy circumstances. So I came back, and it was just.
So I mean, it's tough. I'm again, as you go through this, you see patterns, right?
Yeah.
You're starting out, and your boat sinks. You're starting out, you miss it by one. You starting even last year out, you get in a wreck.
Yeah.
So all these things. So I kind of go back to this mindset, and I've got a quote here, and I want you to see if you agree with it. If you don't trust yourself, you miss the chance to be extraordinary. And I think of that I think, okay, at some point, it seems like Fred Roumbanis said, hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but I've got to trust myself. And then your faith allowed you to keep going as well. So between your faith, your mindset, as you were failing, you failed up every time. Mm-hmm. It seems like to me, like that's every time. Is that? Would you say that that's been just a normalcy with you? Like you get hit and you're just like,
if I'm not licking the rocks, good's not going to happen. If you know what I mean? I'm down at the bottom, rock bottom, and then I know it can only go up from there. And that's
is that how you stop from burnout? Because I can imagine that burnout in that industry would be tough because you're on the end of a boat. You don't have anybody else to blame except yourself, right? I mean, so other people on teams, like you can say, well, I threw the ball to this guy and he didn't catch it. It's on him. The lineman didn't block.
Yeah.
The guy didn't shoot the ball really well. Like these are team sports. You are the captain of your boat, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And so the decisions that you make every single day, you only have one person to blame, right? And you're dealing with things that are out of your control. You're dealing with weather, and you're dealing with the conditions of the water. Are the fish biting? Are they not biting? Is somebody pushing you out of places that you want to go, boat angle, whatever.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with burnouts and situations like that as you've been doing this for 20 years?
You got to somehow figure out how to make that negative a positive. If you go to an area and you think you're going to catch them good and there's a bunch of boat traffic, most people would be like, for example, this tournament, I got the highest paying tournament of the year is coming up here in October. Well, they have another tournament with 600 boats the same time. It's a big bass tournament where they weigh in.
Wow.
Our tournament's 200 boats. So, there could possibly be more than 600. So maybe 900 boats total out there running around.
On one lake.
And most people, and I've already heard of some guys bailing on our deal because the chaos. You got to make that chaos work for you.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, where's most boat traffic going to be? Because where that boat traffic is, that's where the bait's going to get stirred up, where the fish are going to feed.
Okay. Yeah.
So turn that negative where everyone's like, oh, man, this is going to be a brutal event. Figure out how you can make it work for you.
Right.
So in all these negative situations, how can I turn this around and find the positive? Because there is positive. Most of the time, it's just shadowed by darkness, and you never see it. So if it takes a moment of prayer, take a minute and do it.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
He'll lead the way.
So it's not a problem, it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
So
Always.
every time that you sunk the boat, every time that you missed it, every time that you did it, you're saying, hey, I learned something. It's an opportunity. It's not a problem.
That's right.
And that's why 20 years, you've been here, you've outpaced, you've outbeat a lot of the guys that are in the business because of that, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't quit. I'm not a quitter. I'll never be a quitter. When I retire, it's going to be because I want to. I may get kicked out of a level of fishing, but I'm still going to compete at something.
Right.
And I'm going to get back where I need to be. And
I think that's what Caleb and I are curious about. What does the next 5 years look like for you?
I think I'm going to compete for at least 5 more years. There's no doubt about it.
Awesome.
We are working on some other projects. I've got some business partners. We're coming out with a reel.
Okay.
So we got it's something that no other reel's ever done. So that's going to be really neat. Our first prototype should come out real soon, and it's Galilee Fishing. Like the Sea of Galilee. So that's the name
Oh,
for it.
I like that.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Faith-based. I like
Yeah.
We've got some opportunities in the steel business. We've kind of working that angle too. So there's literally so many doors that open. Just got to sometimes peek through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the opportunity is endless. I don't know.
I love that. And then tell us about the Frog Factory.
Oh yeah,
real
so
quick.
Frog Factory. So that's the other thing. I came out with a frog many years ago, and I was doing it with some good friends of ours. They're in their 80s.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. They're older, and I could tell they kind of were wanting out. They're wanting to sell it and offering me the company full, and I just don't have time for it. Yeah. So GSM, if you guys are familiar with the brand GSM, they own 50 hunting brands from Muddy to Cyclops lights so on the hunting side they're huge, and then the fishing they bought up some of the big companies like Yamamoto, RoboWorm, Bill Lewis Rattle Traps.
Yeah.
They own all that. Well, they picked me up as a sponsor a couple years back, and we slowly been getting more products with them. And I came to them with the opportunity to purchase the Frog Factory for a very good deal, cutting any commissions out on my end. Obviously, I'm going to get paid on my baits.
Right.
Went from a 10% to a 5%, but on a larger distribution chain. So we have been developing baits. And I've been out here on Lake Darnell secretly trying baits that these fish have never seen.
Yeah.
And it is so exciting, the stuff we got coming out.
That's great.
So actually in October, back in July, we released some stuff at the big international fishing show in Florida, ICAST. And We went down there and released it, and it was a huge hit. So finally, these baits are good. There's a lot of anticipation. So I'm excited to see what happens with that.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
So you talked about Jackson a minute ago.
Yeah.
So give advice to people that are trying to or thinking about getting into your world, tournament fishing. And from the 8-year-old who had the Zepco 33, who then turns into the 18-year-old, says, I'm going to do this, right?
Yeah.
So today's world is so different, right?
It is
because
way different.
because the electronics are there, which has changed. I mean, the live scope stuff has changed completely, and I've even read that they're changing that. They're having to kind of rein that back in a little bit because it's kind of an unfair advantage in a way. So what would you give, advice that you would give to somebody who's trying to get into this today?
I mean, obviously, the first thing is learn everything that's out there right now. You know, that be good at social media, because social media is, I probably get paid more because of social media than I do for fishing now. And that's a total shift of the whole sport. Is there are more, I guess you call them influencers, which is YouTube, you know, Instagram, stuff like that. They have such a bigger reach.
Right.
And so if you can grow your platform there, even if you're starting off just putting little stuff out there, if there's companies you like, tag them in those companies. Who knows where it could go, you know? They see that stuff. I mean, there's people on their teams. Every one of these companies has a team that does social media. When they see their name brought up, they know. So if you do it a bunch, they're gonna pick up on that, you know?
Right.
Always carry yourself as though everybody's looking at you all times.
Okay.
Don't go screaming out the window because someone's, you know, cutting you off driving or whatever it is, because you never know, that could be your next boss.
Yeah.
You gotta think outside of your own perspective a lot. That's a key element to being successful, I believe, is look at every angle of every perspective if you can. It's hard to do.
It's a lost art.
It's a lost art. It really is. And yes, it's good to be on your phones and looking at social media and studying, but get out there and do it. There's no substitute for time on the water for fishing. If you get out there, put the time in, learn the little nuances that allow you to adjust throughout the day quicker. Sure, you can learn every technique now on the internet. I mean, it's really there. And that's what was never there when I came out with a lot of cool ideas and stuff. So I've always been more that guy that done stuff and kept it quiet for many years. And then when it comes out, I get angry because I'm like, why y'all talking about it? But, I mean, that. And then, you know, we didn't have college and high school tournaments. I would look into that stuff now, because now you can get scholarships to college through high school fishing like Jackson did. And that is amazing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, take advantage of that college, because now a lot of these schools are allowing you to turn in your receipts and reimburse you for your travel expenses.
Wow.
So when I did it all off of credit cards, and when I won some money, I'd pay my credit cards off. I mean, that was how I did it.
Right.
If you can get them to pay you back,
Heck yeah.
do
Why
it.
not?
Take advantage, learn the lakes.
Yeah.
I think it's new, it's different. Like you said, electronics have changed things. Learn those electronics. But I don't know where they're going to balance. You know, some of the events that I'm fishing next year there's going to be restrictions.
Yeah.
For me personally, the way I like to fish, what I've always been known for in bass fishing, the boom boom, is a power fisherman, throwing big swim baits, throwing frogs, throwing, you know, buzz bait, just power fishing. Bass Pro Tour is a numbers game. It's catching as many 2-pounders as you can, and you can't stop. It's very hard to do individually. A lot of these guys are teaming up now. Yeah, they're working together, and I've never been that guy. So
what do you mean they're teaming up?
They get groups, houses of guys, and they all help each other. And you can't give specific locations, but you can say what to look for, how you're catching them. You can do all this. When the Bass Pro Tour first started, they did not allow any of that conversation. Okay. And so I was excelling, making championships, and I was 14th in the points when that all changed, and it literally has gone downhill for me ever since.
So is that because they have the same sponsors or something? Because
no, they're just buddies.
They're just buddies, and so they're
okay. And it's been going on for years, and then when they put a ban to it, it helped me excel again.
Right.
And then they changed the rules
changed it.
again mid-season and allowed it again because people were complaining, well, it's awkward. We go to dinner, we can't talk, And
Well,
it's like there's a lot of other things to talk about. But
you're still competitive.
it's still an individual sport in my mind. So
Yeah.
for me, when you have unlimited fish, that really benefits those guys.
Right.
On a 5-fish limit, you can still do it solo.
Yeah.
So I'd say, to these younger guys that want to get out and do the sport, show courtesy, show some good etiquette. If you see someone catching fish and it was something you didn't find in practice, don't go join them. That's not your place to be.
Right.
You can learn from it and go try to find it somewhere else.
Right.
But don't go cut that guy and ruin it for the guy that actually found it. Because I've had that happen to me a lot. And I think it's hurt me because I've never done that to anybody.
Yeah.
And I just won't do it. Like that it should be imprinted. I see these younger guys are getting taught different. It's okay to just crowd. When people are looking at their screen fishing more than the environment, they don't look up. I had an angler this year. Literally, I threw a bait out. You're allowed to throw live scope one period. You're not in 2 periods, so you can choose when you want to use it.
Yeah.
He was scoping that period. I wasn't. And I'm throwing a bait, and I'm winding it in. I missed the fish. I go to make another cast. He saw it on his graph feeding. He threw over there, hooked it, and I'm like, dude, you just caught my fish. He goes,
my
how
gosh.
is that possible? So I threw my bait and showed him how far I could cast.
Absolutely, yeah. Show out a little.
Gosh.
So, yeah, there is a little bit of that going on.
Well, it seems, and
it's rare, but
I know there was an accident. I think we talked about this last year where there was a really bad boating accident on a tournament, and somebody died, and so you were telling me a minute ago that you had like it could be a tournament with 800 or 900 because you have multiple tournaments going on at the same time.
Yeah.
You have 800 or 900 boats, and that's not including just people out there just enjoying the weekend. So you've got maybe over 1,000 boats on the water at the same time. How do you kind of wrestle with the safety of all of this? I mean, you're traveling across the country. You get in accidents, then you get on the lake. You've got 1,000 people on the lake.
Yeah.
You're racing to get to your spot. It's foggy or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
The conditions are rough. Does that ever cross your mind? Like, hey, this thing is getting to be more and more unsafe the longer you go. You almost died just at 19.
Yeah.
So how unsafe is it in this?
I've only got
arena?
like 1 or 2 lives left.
Can't
No, it is. I think it's important for these young guys to get into it. With my kids, Adam, even with Avery, and he did it a couple weeks ago, got his boating safety class. I think that should be a standard law. Like everybody should take that because they're not. They're just getting out there and getting in a boat and trying to drive. So there's a lot of people that really don't know how to boat. You treat it like a car, right? A boat's coming at you. You stay to the right, they stay to the left. That's the way it should be, but it doesn't necessarily. They're trying to cut corners, get somewhere faster. In my old age, I just kind of slowed my roll. I'm going to relax a little bit, and I'm just going to – I feel like – I don't know. There is that danger and that concern, but you got to, like, put yourself in a thought again. We talk about different perspectives. If they're coming at you, what are they thinking? Mm-hmm. You always, like when you're walking across the street, you always try to look at the driver in the eyes.
Right.
You don't cross the street without seeing them look at you because they could be looking somewhere else. So same thing with boating. Try to make sure they see you. A lot of times I'll kind of jolt my boat a little bit if I see them hauling, so they know that they don't know where I'm going to go. So that way they have to slow down and anticipate me doing something, even though I know what I'm doing. I try to make sure they're aware because, yes, it's been happening. We've had some boat wrecks. It's very sad, and that's scary.
It is scary
because you're going fast on the water.
So fast.
And you can't see some. I mean, like
you go around a blind turn. You should really slow down. I mean, people.
But it's becoming with all these bigger tournaments. And that goes to the popularity of the sport.
Yeah,
it's really
it's huge.
blown up.
Yeah, it's mainstream now.
Yeah, so it's something that colleges didn't have it, high schools didn't have it. Now they have it. Now it's live. You were getting VHS tapes and watching them, right?
Yeah.
Now everything, you can just go on YouTube. You can everything's live. It's right there. And there's tournaments all over the place now, so everybody can. I think there's one this weekend on Dardanelle that's going to be this big one.
It's a really good one, actually. It's a DIV. So it's a good charity event. And we're going to try to make it. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. We're going to try to make it back Sunday and fish it if we can. So I usually donate a jersey to the second. So they have a really good prize for the youth. Mm-hmm. but say the youth catches a 5-pounder, wins, I think it's like $700.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next youth might have caught a 4 something, so I'm like, I give him a jersey.
Yeah.
That's
Sign
cool.
a jersey and give it to him. So that's what I do for them.
awesome.
That's great. So
That confidence builder.
Yeah.
You know?
last couple things. One is I always end by asking a question, and is like a books that mean something to you. Now I know you're like, hey Caleb, I'm on the road, man. I don't read books, but you listen to something, or you listen to a podcast or something. So what are some books that have meant the most to you over the years that have kind of changed your mindset? Because I mean, I'm sitting there listening to a lot of dots connecting, for you, and I'm thinking, hey, there might have been something that you read or that really stood out to you, or you listened to.
It's funny because I had a good friend, Zig Taylor, out in California that he did direct sales, and he did, I think it was Mona V back then, and he became, it was like a drink. It was like an energy, like health thing. It's like really, I mean, we're talking like 25 years ago. And he handed me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I read that on an airplane. And a lot of the little things from that, and just how I think a lot of that, it's just the way I think, the way I don't ever want to put myself in a lot of debt, and just, it's really helped me financially.
Yeah.
And so I think that was probably the most meaningful book, I think I could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have it around here somewhere.
Yeah, I know. It's I have a shelf in my office, and it's just full of good stuff. So, and that's one of them that it's a good book. I mean, it's solid.
Yeah.
And it's been
I probably
around for
should
a
go
long.
back and reread it now, but it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
No,
But
read it with Jackson. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of those that you read.
Well,
you
so
read with
it's
the
funny
boys.
because
Yeah.
Jackson did read it,
There you go.
Oh, good.
See?
but he's
Yeah.
got different opinions on it.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
that's
Good
where
dialogue.
it's really interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how his way of thinking versus the way it's worked out for me.
Yeah.
Look, he's going to run his own game in his own life, and
Yeah.
I'm super proud of it, and
Yeah.
he's going to be very successful. There's no doubt about it. The kid is
Yeah.
unbelievably smart and talented. So
Well, he had good parents to look up to. That's
appreciate it.
important.
Thank you.
Yeah, good parents, good solid foundation, and a good faith-based family to say, hey, there are more important things than winning tournaments or catching the biggest fish, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the dots that I see in this connection to you is like you've figured out what truth really is, and it's kind of stuck with you through all these years, even through the failures, right? Is that
Yeah.
so? Sum it up to me as you go through your life. The last thing is sum up to me what this journey over the last 20 years professionally has meant to you, and some of the takeaways, the big picture takeaways.
I mean, nothing comes easy. That you have to work hard. You just, it's work during, the harder you work, the better the payout, the better the payoff in life. And I think you can't just dream it without working it to be able to live it.
Right.
So dream it, work it, live it.
Dream it, work it, live it.
That's it.
I like it.
Simple.
I like it.
Ooh, that's good.
Well, Fred, thank you for
I
being here.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, this has been awesome. I mean, great stories. I mean, you had some
Yeah.
some awesome.
We left
awesome
several
time.
of them out, but
I know.
there's
I know
not
we-
enough time for
Yeah,
it.
well, we're gonna have you come back for a
Yeah.
second one after you win a couple tournaments this next year.
Yeah, it's
right?
gonna be a good year. I'm
so
excited.
your next year, so everybody can watch you.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where you at? Where you doing? Give your Instagram handle and all that stuff.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Fred Roumbanis, just FredRoumbanis. But once you get to the ROU after Fred, it'll pop
It'll
up.
pop up.
Yeah, so
Thankfully.
thankfully, because that's a hard one. So anyway, that next year is going to be unique. So there's a new circuit that started not too long ago called the NPFL. That's my golf partner in this deal. He's the president of that
Okay.
league. So I really would like to fish that. I would really like to fish that. But it's new, so the media coverage may not be quite where it needs to be yet for all my sponsors to agree with it. So Major League Fishing has a pro circuit, which is a 5-fish limit and a championship. So I'm really leaning towards that. My best stats came from Bassmasters.
Okay.
And there's some really cool opens. So I really haven't put the calendar down to the pen. That's probably our next thing we're going to do today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
get that going.
Yeah.
But I would love to dabble in all three and be like the Ironman of bass fishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. I've only got, a few more years. I really want to do this full time.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing for me is being gone from the family.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I take that in consideration, but I also feel like I'm fishing really good right now, even though my year came off the worst season I've ever had. But if it was a 5-fish limit format this year, I'd have cashed in 5 of the 7 tournaments.
There you go.
So that's when I realized this is not for me. Like, you got to go back to what you do.
Well, you have to go into get out of your
My
comfort
wheelhouse,
zone.
yeah.
Yeah, get out of your comfort zone into your strength zone, right?
right.
I mean, so that's kind of what it sounds like you're doing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's going to be an exciting year for you. I'm looking forward to seeing what all you're going to do, and I'm sure we'll be in. I always follow Julie's stuff. She's your social media person. I'm like, what's Fred doing? It's on. I was checking with Julie, so she's awesome.
Like that.
Yeah, she's a good partner. So Fred, thanks again, man. It's been exciting, and man, we're gonna have you back in at some point, I'm sure.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Caleb.
Fred.
Thank you so much, Jody.
You're welcome.
You guys are the best.
Thanks, man.